Very, very fine. I have a tendency to mumble, so if I don't speak clearly, just start raising your hands and I'll try to talk louder. So, our time is almost up. So I won't have that much time to work on it. So I may pick at certain things and then you can explore some of these general topics that I want to talk about. The first thing is, of course, I think this is one of the more difficult Chopin works. It's just very awkward, I think, in a lot of ways to play accurately, cleanly. You've accomplished a lot by already doing what you're doing. It's also hard to hold together as a work. There's so many character changes, a lot of repetitions. Things just seem to stop all of a sudden, and we just have to pick up and somehow move ahead. There's something about the temporal relationships. I've been saying this all day today, so maybe it's just me. But there's something about the way that things don't move. There's a tendency for you to take lots of time at very, very nice moments, but in the end result is that it's, I think, a little fussy. You know, the beginning is a march, right? No, it's like the waltzes of Chopin. Are we really going to dance to those waltzes? They're way too fast for us to do that, so that's not possible. So it's not necessarily that we need to find a tempo where we don't fall over our own feet trying to stay in a tempo. But I think you do take a lot of liberties, and I think it's just more simple, much more simple than at the very beginning. So can you just start at the very beginning, and then we'll just talk a little bit about that, and then we'll jump around. Section of the orchestra to another section of the orchestra so that we don't get bogged down in things that aren't that special. You turn lots of things into moments, but then they don't add up. So that's the secret, I think, is just handing it from one to the other. I also think that the simplicity of the dynamic needs to be more sustained. You tend to swell when there's moments of rising lines. Sometimes I'm a little bit too literal, I will admit that. But in this entire first page, the only time he has a little dynamic is this diminuendo. He has a crescendo there, but that's it. Very minimal. And so I just think it's a little bit more matter of fact. It's beautiful the way that you shape. The sound color, I think, for the general part is good. Just feel the temporal relationship a little bit. Can we do it just from this here, and we're going to go on to this next. So to me, he's just showing us, it's just a range, but then because it's in the left hand, that's unexpected. So we need to bring it up to show that off. Can you start one more, and then just the register play itself? So again, think of the march and that feeling. I think that, again, a composer, when they write the word crescendo, they mean it. When they have the mark, it's just a directional. So sometimes I think if you just look at it that way, then these kinds of swells won't be so big, and it's just more even keeled all the way through. So this kind of idea. Now, starting here, can you just start so they know where I am? To keep going forward, because each of the other segments was just 2 bars, and then it was 2 bars, and then the one time he wants us to be 4 bars, he says, go, take the sound. But you did a lot of crescendos and diminuendos. It was a little fussy again, and so then it felt a little bit broken up. So I think this whole first section is really more about just keeping the simplicity there and just allowing it to speak for itself. Okay? Now, this is like my mad rush into this next section. Can we try it from here? Drives all the way then here, then let go. Yeah, so a lot of this also is just maintaining tension in the line. If you take time, you relax. If you diminuendo, it relaxes. And so then everything feels like it's getting stuck instead of moving forward. So just keep that in mind. Let's go on to the second one. The marking is agitato. Everything about this is syncopated. 1, 2, dee da dee da da. But you play dee da da da. It sounds very romantic, as if you're a big string section. This is all syncopated. I don't feel it. So first of all, the tempo, I think you can take a little bit of time. 1 dee da dee dee da ba. But I need to feel the syncopation. Agitato is not faster. It's usually against the grain, and that's because of the syncopation. So that's what you want to feel, the syncopation. Can we try it from the peak? Now we're all on the beat. Everything is in, A flat. There's something about that that isn't set up enough, right? So just make sure that agitato, you feel that, and then the relaxation when that comes in. Okay. 5 minutes. Okay. So I want to maybe start from here. Russian melodies, the high point is the beginning phrase. Yum, ya, da, 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 da. It has an accent here, but there's a diminuendo. I think the high point is yum, ya, da, 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 da. It's that kind of a sweep, the fall, that I'm more interested in. Can we try that? Now, in the excitement here, it's such a great section and fulfilling to play. I love playing this part here. The left hand, just make sure it's not too big. I felt they covered up a little bit both times when you were running through the first time. So, can we try it from here now? So, your phrase grouping here is what I want to talk a little bit about. Your left hand, then, but actually what you're doing is, so just make sure you phrase, I think, with the division of the left hand. That keeps us moving forward. It's less square. That way. Can you try it? You can take time. I was being the metronome here, but you were kind of all over the place, and I wasn't able to get balance. And I think that there's something about this. Again, where's the syncopation? Yum bum bum ba da dee da 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 bum bum ba da. I couldn't feel the syncopation because the beats were moving around a little bit too much. Let's try it. The power and the accuracy was great. If you can just rein in the tempo a little bit. Oh, your teacher has here. Not too early. It's a little bit square, but it's more powerful that way. It's strong. The other one is a little bit frantic, so it needs confidence. Yeah, try it again. Yes, early. Yeah, try it. Yum, bum, bum, ba-dum, bum. So in this one, the first time it doesn't have an accelerato. The second one, it does have it. Why do you think that's the case?
To make it like more different.
Well, it's more different, but what's the difference in the dynamic?
This one's piano and the other one is
Yeah, this one's piano. So it's just going, and then it's just piano. The other one, he goes to forte. So there, it makes sense to move the line forward to get to that crescendo. So just be careful that you don't just do it because it was the second time. Yeah? I thought in general you do this very well. The melody comes out, the articulation underneath is exactly where it should be. In this section here, I feel like your lines could be more towards the top. It's a little bit too loud. Your teacher has it all over there. So just make sure that, I keep telling my students, if you just did what was rewrote into the music, it'd be so much faster getting through music. But if you just pay attention to those kinds of things, this is a lot of the same thing. Your center section, the B major, for me, it is lento. I mean, we could be slower, but lento is pretty slow. I think yours is a little too fast. And I know that this section here will then be kind of uncomfortable. So I'm okay with playing this a little bit slower, and then when you come to there, just inch forward a little bit. This is the one time I would say you can go forward a little bit. Not hurry it, but just maybe play a little bit faster. Otherwise, the first time we have 8 notes that gets movement. When we get to this, there are no 8 notes anymore. That's what makes it so slow. And so we somehow still need to feel that forward line. So maybe not quite so fast on that. Just one last thing at the very end. So when you do this, there, do you see a retard anywhere? No. So don't do it. Somehow the energy has to go all the way to the very end. Very picky little things. You already have a beautiful conception of it. But just think about how the forward momentum of these things creates the kind of motion that you need, I think, to then pull the whole thing together.